Today we've got a really cool passive income hack. We're going to convert an industrial grade Bitcoin miner to work on single phase electricity. This is the Bitmain Antminer T21. This Bitcoin miner does not work if you don't have the proper voltage, but Altair's got a good hack where we're going to change the power bars on the miner, we're going to change the power supply, and we will be able to deploy the Antminer T21 basically in any kind of mining farm. This is critical for two things. This T21 can be the best bang for buck Bitcoin miner. Furthermore, if you accidentally order the T21 not really understanding that you may not be able to use it and you probably can't return it, instead of selling it for a loss, for less than $200, we're going to upgrade it to better suit our needs and really, out here, the VoskCoin mining farm infrastructure. What's up, by the way? My name is Vosk. I've spent a lot of time working on the mining farm lately. So let's dig into this one. This is going to be a fun one. Oh, by the way, it's easy and quick. Who doesn't like a mod like that? Alright, I'm going to kind of speed run this because we have, I saved the peel for the video though, because we have videos on how to change control boards, how to change fans. I think we have videos on how to change a power supply. So we've got all this existing content here on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. So yeah, this isn't fun to peel. Oh, lucky me! Another side. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen that hood. We're going to loosen it more, and then it pops off easy. So we take the hood off. And then this is bolted on with 2 screws over here. And then this has this piece that comes undone and this PCIe connection. So we got a ribbon connection and then a PCIe power connection. See, that slides out of there and this slides out of here, right? And we're basically downgrading this power supply to a less powerful but more like versatile power supply. I mean, this is the power supply of many different Bitmain Antminer ASIC miners, most notably the S19s. So this design is different, and this hood does not come off the same way it comes off on all of their other miners. So let's undo this connection. What I'm undoing the 4 screws closest to the power supply on the bus bar. The bus bar is that big silver piece. And so this is what I was hoping would happen. So this is almost sliding out. Let's take this cover off. Try to slide it off the front. Also, don't get it twisted, I'm a Milwaukee guy. Watch the fog hashing immersion mining video install to understand why I'm using the Ryobi drill today.
Do you like Bitcoin? Do you want some Bitcoin mining exposure? Do you like badgers, maybe? Then you should probably check out Quantum Expeditions. They're building a Bitcoin mining farm, and they're letting people invest in it. This isn't financial advice or an endorsement, but I'm pretty excited to have a share in Quantum Expeditions myself. Learn more about them with the link out in the video description below.
Alright, so here's the deal with these T21s, the new S21s, and the latest S19K Pros. Bitmain does it again. They do some fucking bullshit that absolutely sucks. There's a bar here that's basically keeping the power supply from sliding off. It absolutely sucks. So there's 4 screws that hold the... Goodbye. Now I got through. There's 4 screws that hold these fans onto the front of the miner, right? You guessed it, we're gonna take them off. Voila! Now that that's off, we can slide this off. It's not the biggest deal, but it's one more step. And let's say you're building a massive Bitcoin mining farm and you're deploying 1,000 of these. Well, that wouldn't really make sense because you shouldn't have to replace 1,000 freaking power supplies. But the bottom line is, I don't like it. I don't see the point. It completely sucks. Thanks for nothing. Now, don't make a freaking dummy move. Make sure you slide this on, okay? Before you put this fan shroud back on. Otherwise, you're going to be taking it back off. Power supply mounted. 2 grooves, slide them in where they're supposed to be. Fan shroud. Let's put it back. All right, 3 more screws on each bus bar. We're gonna pop those off. Boom, these are thick boys. Look at those things. They're like twice as thick. All right, so next you line up the bus bars and you install them. This ribbon connector goes in there, and that PCIe power connection goes in there. Pretty simple, straightforward, what you would expect. Also, remember all of the S21s, T21s, and half of the S19K Pros utilize the square fan connectors, okay? They're different, these are new, these have changed. All of the older miners use the rectangle ones. Just be advised, it's unrelated to this video, but it's good to know about. This definitely takes some precision, right? I'm pulling the power supply in, I'm pushing this hashboard over. When I go to make this connection, I'm pushing the hashboard towards the power supply. I'm firm, right, but trying to have some finesse here. At this point, this one pretty much lines up. Ooh, almost. Oh! I almost dropped that inside the miner. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so I loosened the connections on the interior bus bar. And to be honest, I used a fair amount of pressure. And I was able to get all these where I needed them to go. All right. This is taking longer than I thought it would. PCIe connection. Click. Ribbon connection. Click. These mounted. Now, this is basically an early prototype type design This was only recently discovered, and Altair didn't have any spare PSU covers. Fortunately, I do have a spare power connection cover that I'm just going to throw on here. But basically, you don't want to leave these bus bars exposed. So that's why they are never exposed. So we have that hood, we can reuse the hood, put it on, but it's exposed here. You touch that when it's running, bad time. So I just talked to him about this, and I'm hoping that he's gonna start offering covers or 3D printing a cover here just to make this easy peasy, one kit and safe. You gotta dummy proof it. What if your kid comes running along, he's like, oh look, my dad's a miner. See you later, Timmy. No, we can't have that. All right, so we're gonna put the hood back on for the control board as well as the power supply hood. So this will be all buttoned up, and then we will go ahead and get power and Ethernet to it so we can connect to it, and then we're going to customize it with firmware. And that's gonna be the secret sauce that makes this all possible.
It's been a couple of days. Now we got some data. So we're here inside the Antminer T21. But let's back up a second, right? So how did we get here after changing the power supply, then plugging in Ethernet and power? Because it's supposed to be just so easy, right? Power, internet, passive, income, baby. It was a sentence something like that, right? So we use their commander tool. It's much like Brain's toolbox if you're familiar with that. Punched in the IP address, flashed the firmware. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, pretty easy, truly. And it got easier after that, right? We look at the specs, we look at the performance, and we see that it starts mining, and there it goes. A key thing though, right, is we went to the preset profiles and we went one click down from the default, which is 465 megahertz, right? So this is your chip frequency. Higher frequency is basically an overclock, a higher overclock. It means more power, it means higher hash rate, it means more heat, it means more power consumption, right? Generally speaking. So based on Altair's input, we bumped it down to 440 megahertz because he doesn't think that the power consumption on the default settings on the APW 12 PSU, specifically the APW 12 1215F, F is revision F, he does not think that it is safe to run the power consumption long term on the default settings. I say, okay, cool, say no more. Check out this efficiency. 14 joules a terahash. Do you understand how good that is? If we pull up the best Bitcoin miner in the world, air-cooled, right? The S21 Pro that is supposed to ship sometime around Q3 or Q4 2024. What a window. The second half of the year, guys. Good luck. It's 15 joules a terahash a second. Yes, it's more powerful. It uses more electricity. So like the density there, the bang for buck, right? That's going to be better. But one, this is a miner that doesn't really even exist mainstream yet. But two, this is crazy that we are beating the efficiency on this with basically a slight underclock. If you don't know, out of the box, the Bitmain Antminer T21 is only 19 joules a terahash. And so that's the same as 19 watts a terahash. The lower number you have, higher efficiency, more money, or really more Bitcoins in your pocket, and less money in your electrical company's pocket. So this is crazy to me that we are hitting this insane level of efficiency, and we've modified a T21 to run on single phase. So Altair, great guy, knowledgeable, and he sells numerous Bitcoin miners. He's a Bitcoin only guy if you check out the shop. Key thing here, right? He sells the T21, $3,500 basically. He's in the US, and he has stock here in the United States. These can ship right now. You can say with code VoskCoin, yes, absolutely. Please punch it in to support yourself and support your boy. But I really want to illustrate how cool I think this is. I originally saw this as one of Altair's Twitter threads. I was like, dude, look, I've been staying away from the T21, but it's a great bang for buck. I went in, asked him a couple questions, got one from him, modified it as you've seen in this video, and now it's hashing and it's working and it's very, very efficient. Like, to put this into perspective, versus some of my S19s and especially versus my T19, this thing is literally twice as efficient. I mine twice as much Bitcoin with this as I do those other miners. Crazy. I could go on and on, but he wonders how much people would really want this. Like, is this just a cool thing for me? Is this a cool thing, for a video, a project? Is this a cool thing for someone who accidentally bought this and did not understand the three-phase dilemma with the power supply that they're slinging with these T21s? Or do you look at the price point, you look at the bang for buck, and you say, you know what? That's perfect for me. That's right up my alley. Please let us know down in the comments right here on YouTube. He's going to be checking them if you want to see this. I will edit the video description below with a direct link to buy the modified version of these or a version of this as a kit if that becomes a possibility. If it does not, I will link out a list and the exact parts you need to do this yourself. And then you can just follow along with the video. So very, very, very cool. Let's flip back to the review though. So we're using LuxorOS for this, and we could have tried other things, but I just wanted to copy and paste what he did. I've also been meaning to mess around with Luxor's revised operating system for Bitcoin miners, and this kind of, pushed me right into doing that. So we look at this OS, we use the commander, right, and everything's good, fine. I really like the design, I like the information, it's very cool, it's very effective. But one thing that I had to look everywhere for, right, because when you look through the user agreement, you see all this information about fees and how you're going to be paying fees, but what is the fee, right? And if we search the literal fee percent, it's not there. And we look through their docs, their documentation. We go through LuxorOS and all the associated documentation. We type in the fee percent and we don't get a clear readout. Cannot find it. Okay. We look at the compatibility, and please look on screen. You can see the compatibility, at least currently, right now. And if it's not compatible, you can do workarounds with an SD card and stuff if you really want it that bad. But if I really wanted something that bad, I would probably just be looking at Brains or another solution, or even just fan spoofers if I just wanted to get it into an immersion mode, which, have it liquid cooled with immersion mining, which is the main thing that pushed us towards using aftermarket firmwares on these miners recently, especially at scale, as we try to scale out our mining farm. There's a thread on Bitcoin Talk, which I'm surprised people still use that, especially when there's VoskCoin Talk, a much better version. Shameless plug. Biased, yeah, that's true. But I saw good old Philip on there. Man, it's cool. It's good to see him still here, still plugging along. Our original Trio 3 GPU miner design was based off a mining rig, GPU mining rig he built. And he offered some feedback to help us kind of refine and fine tune that. So man, it's crazy times back then. So when we go into the mining pool and we look at the 24-hour performance, we see 175 terahash a second. And at first I'm like, what the fuck? Because when we look at the miner, it says we got a 5-minute hash rate of 180 terahash. And then I look at the chart and I go back and I go back and I go back. Well, really I'm going forward as I show you on screen, but I went backwards when I looked previously. And I've checked numerous times and I'm consistently hashing over 180 terahash a second, and the 24-hour hash rate is 180.53. Everything says 180. So where's 5 of my terahash? It's with the damn fee. There's a 2.8% fee on this. So I'm losing 5 terahash a second. I'm also paying a mining pool fee. And I normally have reduced fees using Brains OS with the Brains mining pool. And with Luxor, they have a 2.5% fee on their Bitcoin mining pool, and they will remove that fee if you use their OS with their mining pool there. But yeah, it's that's a very real thing. I mean, it kind of sucks, especially as you get into more and more powerful miners. You know, to lose 5 terahash a second, that's a freaking lot. It's disappointing, right? But on the other hand, you pay to play. I am very, very happy with the efficiency. And it's just the reality of using these aftermarket firmwares. You're paying additional developer fees. I would just love if like Bitmain would make a very useful, good firmware version, or like an advanced pro firmware version we could all use, and they would probably just instantly put a lot of pressure on these aftermarket firmwares to, in my opinion, have more reasonable fees. 3% plus a mining pool, before you know it, you're losing 5% of your mining profitability. It's pretty crazy. And 5% post-halving, depending on your electricity rate and your hardware, can truly be what makes or breaks you. But to bring it back here to the T21 and this customized option, this is cool. Like, this is interesting. I'm still blown away by this efficiency though. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So we'll just put anything in here. There's a different calculator. I pulled up the wrong one, but this will do. So we're basically pulling 2,500 watts, right? We are pulling 2,520 watts. So we'll just say 2,500. And we look at our energy usage per day. It's 24 because it runs all the time. And I have an electricity cost of 10 cents per kilowatt hour. So this cost me $6 a day to run. This is very interesting, right? And I'm working towards getting my electric rate down towards 7 cents, which means that I would only be paying $4.20 to run this thing. And then I'm really trying to get some solar deployed and slowly creep my energy rate down, because I'll be creating some of it, right? So if I could get towards like 5 cents per kilowatt hour, this would cost me $3 a day to run, or about $90. That sounds like nothing for running a full-size Bitcoin miner. Understand, right, that many people, including myself, have Antminer S19s, bunch of different models and variations, whatever, that basically consume at least 3,000 watts before you really try to fine tune them for efficiency and stuff like that. And some of them mine around 90, 100 terahash a second. So we have 2 miners from the previous generation mining at about the same hash rate as this T21, right? At the cost of $14.40 per day. For this roughly, approximately, like, we'll just say the same hash rate. Or I have this, it's $6. This is an efficient way to mine. This new generation, and if you downclock them a little bit, will give you a real runway. So if we take this data from AMV and we look at the T21 in stock form, it's supposed to do 190 terahash a second at 3,600 watts. It's supposed to earn about $18 a day in mining profitability, while costing about $8.66 to run. And we've lost about 10% of that hash rate between the fee as well as the downclocking. So that means that we are probably supposed to be making about $16 a day with this, and it's only costing us $6 a day to run. Assuming the power usage is correct and accurate from the dashboard here. I have not measured this at the wall.
All right, the T21's been up for about 20 minutes. Should be plenty of time to gather data on Bitcoin miners. You can see this footage from 17 minutes. Man, a miner heats this thing up quick. 3,750 watts, 16 amps of electricity. Yeah, it's a hot boy. And just like Gordon Ramsay said in his Kitchen Nightmare shows, shut it down! Shut it down! We're done! We are done!
Plonker. Twat.
Oh man, what a day. Just feel completely rugged. So this thing is using 1,200 more watts than I thought it was. So I was going on and on about how efficient and it's so great and this and that, whatever. And it's still a profitable machine, no doubt about it. This is still a very cool endeavor, but using 3,700 watts as opposed to 2,500 are drastically different. It's about a 50% power increase over what The dashboard of LuxorOS, this Luxor firmware wrecked me. It absolutely lied to me. Played with my feelings, my emotions, and I just got no capacity left for that right now. So I still really like this miner, but this really changes the numbers, right? At 3,700 watts, this is my power consumption, and then this is the efficiency as opposed to what we previously thought. Things have been very go, 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 run, 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 run and gun. I'm getting through a bunch of things at the moment, and in a day or two, I'm gonna take a deep breath. And I'm gonna make a clear, concise Bitmain Antminer T21 review. I'll have even more data for you guys. Daily mining profitability, the exact electrical usage, and the costs associated with that, and how this has been performing. So please subscribe and stick around and check out that video among all the other videos we put out here on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. Why? Because we have a CBO at VoskCoin. It's the Chief Bitcoin Officer, and her name is Tails Vosk. And she's the cutest pup in the world. She's just snoozing in my office right now. We run 10 seconds Tails on every video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you on the next one.